Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. So today I brought this one back on, and we are actually going to talk about money, both of us.
What?
But I thought it'd be interesting to talk to him about how he feels about budgeting, how he's felt since we've combined incomes and budgets basically, and like how he's feeling about all the things, because I'm seeing in a lot of different debt-free community groups that I'm in and stuff that there are quite a few people that struggle with kind of getting their partner on board. And I wouldn't say that we're like 100% on the same page, but we're definitely working through some stuff. So I thought it'd be interesting just to get it from your point of view. So yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion on things and how you're feeling about all the things and any background you have in budgeting. So what do you think we should start with?
Wow, we're just going into it wide open, huh?
Yeah, this is a problem I have as I ask all of the questions at one time. So how are you feeling since we combined budgets, and how do you feel about the budget in general?
Yeah, so I think that combining was and has been good.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely something that, I don't know, like prior to at least marriage or like serious relationship, something that gave me a lot of pause. I didn't know how I wanted to handle it. I mean, really, even, I don't know, up until like, I don't know, less than a year ago, like we weren't really thinking about 100% combining. And I think a lot of that has to do with both of us being very independent and, past money mindset and stuff, and like having just like all those things coming together seemed like a really like scary proposition. It was like, no, we're just going to keep things separate, and like we'll have a house fund. Like what we talked about originally. Yeah. It was like, we'll have like a house fund, but we'll still keep our own, our own money or whatever. And that was like more or less what I anticipated we were going to go with until earlier this year, when we really kind of went hard on, read the Dave Ramsey book and like really decided to like, oh, actually moving forward together makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Especially for us, I think it's different for every family, and we would like at some point, we have decided that our money will be combined. Like our money is our money, our debt is our debt. However, we would like to get to a point where when we have a much more disposable income, or we have a lot more coming in, where we can be a lot more flexible with personal spending. So like having personal accounts where he gets a certain amount of money, I get a certain amount of money, kind of like the personal like spending part of our budget. It just hopefully will be more than $30, that we give ourselves a month. So so we kind of will have a somewhat similar mindset toward what we had initially thought, but a big thing was just like, we both have a lot of debt. We really want to go all in on Ben's business, and that was also like kind of part of the conversation, was we really had to actually look at what our goals were as a family, like besides money, like where we want to live, what we want to do, like all these kinds of things kind of helped formulate that decision a little bit better than initially. We were both like, nope, we're gonna have our own money, our debt's gonna be our own debt, and that's just what it's gonna be.
Yeah, I will say too, to kind of like rewind a little bit, as we're talking through this, a big part of what kind of precipitated this decision and path for us was me getting sick last year. Because I didn't work for a few months, as a, personal training was my main income at the time. And so, and I was self-employed, so to not, I don't get disability insurance. Like there was none of that. I wasn't getting PTO or sick day, nothing like that. So not only was I not working and not making money, but I also wasn't getting paid for that time off. So really took a big hit there. And that was like one of those moments where I think it was just like an eye-opening thing for us as a couple. You stepped up to the plate. and you helped me out, and this was like more or less because we had no other option. Like,
yeah, he's giving me some credit here, but I was not happy about it most of the time.
yeah,
I definitely
but it was truly like, I'm like, babe, like,
he can't pay
I have no money. Like,
like, yeah,
like I have nothing coming in.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much background you give him with like savings and things like that, but at the time that had been like dwindled down too, so I really didn't have much of a cushion at all, and I was making pretty good money. So to go from that to zero and not be able to and have a certain lifestyle set in place that I couldn't really change, like we had just got an apartment that we paid a lot of money for, and it was something we wanted and we valued, but now I didn't have my share.
Yeah, so our income went down a lot.
Yeah, so that was so that was kind of like where it all stemmed from. It forced us into this conversation because we were in a situation of like, hey, like, okay, we really are a team, whether we like it or not. Like, we have to do this together. And then that kind of led into like, okay, sure, this didn't feel great, but like, what if we proactively figured out how to work as a team going forward?
So just so you guys know, I create the budget every month. He has access to it. He is more than welcome to spend as much time as he would like in the budget. It's unfortunately, in my opinion, I think it's a great budget, but it's not where he wants to spend all of his time. So, but what do you think of the budget? Like, you didn't really have a budget before, so, and the whole Dave Ramsey thing we did together, I just kind of went a little bit more full force at it than he did. But like, so what do you think of the actual budget and of budgeting and paying attention to where our money's going?
Well, in general, I like it. It's it makes a lot of sense. It's extremely empowering. It just hasn't been something that I've stepped into because of where I've been putting my energy recently, and that's kind of an excuse as well. Like, I could very easily still go in there and be a more active participant.
One of the things, though, the reasons that it's not as big of a deal is because Ben is not the spender in the relationship. Like, he definitely is naturally more of a saver. He eats at home. He doesn't like kind of frivolously spend money in any way. The only thing that like he does spend money on are things that he knows are coming every month, like bills and stuff like that, and like groceries. But so it's not like he needs to be in it all the time to like make sure that we have enough money to spend in some area. He's learning that like that is something that he needs to do for like certain household things or things like that. But for me, it's more helpful for that because I am naturally more inclined to spend money. I've never been a very good saver, so the budget has been helpful for me in that realm of just like seeing my money and knowing how much I actually have to spend. But I think it's helpful in the same regard for you to understand where the money is going. Like, when I say we can't afford to do this right now, like, you understanding why that is and things like that, I think are really important, especially when we're in kind of a tight spot right now. Though we have talked about when we aren't in a tight spot that we intend to have a budget forever.
Yeah, and I think that's like the most important thing to like understand here, like out of my response or whatever, is it's absolutely valuable. And yeah, like regardless of income, you should always have one. And
yeah,
so
knowing
for me,
where your money's going.
Honestly, a lot of it is because, the reason I haven't put more time and effort into it is because Jesse's like, I've seen her fully own it, and so I'm like, okay, I don't need to worry about it. And that's not saying that like I can't jump in and help, but it's definitely a reason that I've been more hands off, because if I didn't feel that was the case, my like, okay, this has got to get done would kind of kick in. But yeah, like long term, definitely a necessity. It just all comes back to it's empowering to know where your money's going. That's how you improve the relationship between you and money. It's like, you know, we couldn't possibly have a good relationship if we didn't talk or communicate, or I didn't know where you were half the time, or like what your schedule was. It's like the same thing. If you don't know where your money's at, you can't possibly have the best relationship with it. So yeah, I think all those things make sense. Did you ask any other?
No, I mean, is there anything with budgeting or like with the financial health of our relationship that's been difficult for you?
Yeah, I think the biggest difficulty is, and this is like, relationships help reflect this part of anything, of yourself and your behaviors, is it's been a mirror. And it's been a mirror of like, okay, I always knew that if I wanted to do this, like, yeah, like, you know, maybe I should have looked at my budget first or where my money was at first, but I'm just going to spend it anyways. And like in the back of my mind, knowing that I probably should have checked or just straight up not spent that money. Now it's like, now there's like resistance, or there's like confrontation in like, oh, I have to run this past Jesse, or oh, like we have to talk about this. Like, that's bullshit. I should just be able to spend money on what I want. Like, it immediately, I feel that like hard resistance come up where I'm just like, I don't want somebody telling me what to do. So that part's hard, but, and we've had conversations about that too. A lot of it is really around what were already bad habits or bad decisions. It's just now there's an accountability factor. Yeah.
What has there been anything that's been really hard for you to have to like cut back on? Or what are some of the areas that we've disagreed the most?
Jessie, I feel like she was being pretty fair by saying before that I don't spend my money frivolously or on a lot of things, and I don't think I do. But when I do want to spend it, I want to spend it, and like I said, I don't want to have to like check in with somebody or think twice about it or whatever, and that's not reality, but just sharing how I actually feel about it. So for me, I'm always buying like growth stuff, whether that's personal, whether that's business,
food.
Yeah, food. Those things, because I can always justify to myself as like, oh, there's a benefit there. Oh, like it's productive. And then the only one thing that doesn't fall in that category is gambling when it comes to football. Like fantasy football, anything football and money related is a definite area of, what would you call that? I'm very pulled to it. And
obsessed.
Yeah. It's like something that it's my one vice or like thing that I am passionate about it, but it can potentially get out of hand just because I get so into it. And again, it's not like ridiculous. I haven't lost large sums of money or anything like that, but that's where I would spend my money, because for me that's an entertainment value. And so then to go to like areas that have been a struggle or like a back and forth, Starbucks. It's like I just can't understand it, and like I can't have it built into our budget. So again, sharing my feelings on that. Whereas like the football stuff, and then like we've talked about food. Food has always been a tough thing for us because we do like to eat well, and
a lot.
Yeah.
You eat a lot. Just like living with a boy, they eat way more than I do, for sure.
Yeah.
So when you're buying like entirely organic, grass-fed, like shaman blessed food, it's just expensive. And when you don't actually have that money to be putting, $600-700 away, it's a lot of our income just on food. It's really, really difficult. So we've definitely struggled with that one, just trying to figure out what actually is necessary, how to be like better with our food consumption and not like having to throw away food, things like that. But along with like the Starbucks football thing, we actually had to have like a pretty intense conversation. It wasn't a fight, but an intense conversation about that, because for me, like when I am ready, when I see that we only have this certain amount of money every month, I cut everything out of the budget, including things that I enjoy, which are things like Starbucks, but it's also things like getting my nails done. I haven't gotten my hair cut in over a year. I haven't purchased any makeup. I don't go out to eat. I don't hang out with my friends because I don't have money to go and eat with them. So from my perspective, I'm cutting all these things, and then I look in the account one day and he had charged $20, only $20, but $20 to his football stuff. And it was like a really difficult conversation where we had to talk about like, I think that your football stuff is not worth being in the budget, and he doesn't think that my Starbucks is worth being in the budget. So in that realm, that's when we had to figure out like, okay, we need even just a tiny little bucket, $30. It'll be $10 in October because we're really short, of just like, if you want to spend $10 on like Starburst at the gas station, I get to say nothing about that, because you can spend your $10 on whatever you would like to spend. So that was kind of like what we had to do, because there are a couple of things that that neither of us do see eye to eye on. It's just different things that we're passionate about. And when one of us feels like they're not able to do what they want to do and the other person still does what they want to do, it causes a lot of hurt and a lot of like irritation between us. So that was kind of like one of the issues that we had to work through. And like I said, when we get to a point where we're bringing in a lot more income, which we know is coming, it will be less of an issue. You know, like even for me, I'm not going to spend all of my money on Starbucks. I'm just not going to do it. I don't care that much about it. But like if I want to be able to go and get my hair done and all of these things that we've pulled out of our budget for now, we need to also remember that there needs to be some equality, like, you know, and there needs to be openness about it. If I cut everything out of the budget that pertains to me and things that I enjoy, but he can still do the things that he wants, that's not very fair. So we had to like kind of figure that out as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so it's just like, it's a lot of conversation. It's a lot of like old wounds that are coming up. It's a lot of money issues. Like we both knew that we had some like bad money mindsets going into the relationship, and it was things that we were working on separately. And now we're not only having to deal with our own money mindset, we're having to deal with someone else's, and they're a little bit different. So it can be really difficult. But we are both very much focused on making sure that this like money mindset ends with us, and whenever we have children, that this isn't something that they see their parents fighting about, that this isn't something that they see their parents worrying about, that this is something that they know that they can just have a better mindset around it. So we're going through the tough shit right now to get in a better place so that mindset ends with us.
Yeah.
So we're working through it. I mean, we've had a joint budget now since only 2 full months.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's been.
Unfortunately, we were like hit right away with some issues. Like, you know, the universe is like, hey, you guys are combining and it's difficult.
Fire.
Let me throw some shit at you. So we've had some issues, but
that's how our whole relationship has been. So
yeah, just full of shit. We're handling it the best that we can.
One day at a time.
So definitely leave comments down below if you have any questions for us. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. We're growing like crazy, which is amazing. So super excited about that. But we'll see you guys later.